welcome to Bits and Bobs Thursday. I'm Johnny DL. Today I want to talk about the Free People of Earth. Um, I know this is from um, the book Shadow of Shadow of the Giant, which I've already reviewed for you. Um, but the Free People of Earth is a movement that was part of the book that has really made me think over the past couple of months um, about politics in a massive way and the way that the world seems to be going. And I just thought I would share some stuff with you because I know I did my majority movement video and I talked about feminism and minority movements. But the Free People of Earth, I think, would actually work as a method of unifying the world. Um, it does require that there is a common language of some sort, and that's going to be tricky. However, I think that it is possible to run it. Um, I'm not quite sure which nations I would like at the top of the pile, or even if I would like nations at the top of the pile, which people I would like at the top of the pile. But the idea is that individuals sign up to it. So I would sign up to it. You might sign up to it, and we make a promise that we will, for the rest of our lives, promote things like free access to basic healthcare. Now, by basic healthcare, I mean access to the very, very basics of drugs. So, maybe penicillin, um, paracetamol, ibuprofen, stuff that is predominantly able to be bought over the counter, which are really cheap drugs. They are drugs that we know work. They've been used for hundreds of years, and healthcare in the way that we also provide free access to um, accident and injury um, problems. So if you have um, a broken leg, say, they will treat the broken leg um, and put it in its first cast free of charge. Or they will, if you're dying of um, blood loss, they will patch you up and make sure that there's blood in you. So I'm not talking healthcare in that everybody on Earth is going to have free access to cancer treatment. That's a huge step more. That there isn't the money to do that in many nations. So we're not promoting sort of stuff that's unaffordable. We're talking the very basics of healthcare. Um, Moving on, we also want to promote the very basics of human rights. So, in terms of adults, that means that adults have access to food, water, um, a roof over their head of some sort, basically shelter from the elements. That means four walls and a roof that don't leak. Um, and what else? Uh, the right to vote. Unilaterally, everybody has the right to vote. Um, so it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, as long as you're over the age of 18 and an adult, you have um, those rights as well. Rights for children in terms of um, they're protected from um, they have special protections like protection from rape and protection from we don't condone rape at all anyway. Raping children especially and sex with children is something that is against the rules of because I haven't come up with another name, the free people of Earth. And children will be provided education, free education, for whatever level they can achieve before the age of 18. Um, if they want to go and do education um, as a vocation, as, do vocational education, so become a plumber or something, then that would be paid for just as much as going out and getting a degree, and um, and from there we go to what we define as people. The free people of Earth means any human being on the planet, and um, we want them to be any ethnic origin, any religion. It doesn't matter. We all treat them with the same amount of respect. It doesn't matter whether they are black, white, gay, um, straight, Asian, female, male, old, young. They all get the same amount of respect as people. We don't have to like each other, but we can't persecute people based on their origins or the way they look or anything else. And we don't persecute disabilities either. So there's a huge amount of making sure that we do our best to abide by equal opportunities laws or similar, so it's that everybody has the same basic levels, and from that we also move towards repudiating war and saying that we don't want war. We will quite happily defend the rights of the free people, but we won't go out and make war, and we won't go out and conquer, and we won't go out and invade somebody for something we believe is ours, because we don't have a right to it just because it's there. Um, that this has happened with all sorts of nations throughout history. Nations have invaded somewhere and gone, this place is now ours. You may have lived here for 5 years before us or 1,000 years before us. It doesn't matter. We're the civilized people. We turned up. We planted our flag in it, and we've got the guns. No, that's not the way the free people work. The free people believe that everybody has the right to these things, and that we need to protect those ideals, not just for ourselves, but for everybody. So if one nation decides to make war upon another, we would quite happily advocate going and defending the homeland of another nation, but we wouldn't go and invade the nation that was attacking us. We would defend the border. We wouldn't overstep that, and we would only defend the border if we would offer in any case, but we'd only go and defend if that offer was accepted. We wouldn't then stake a claim ourselves to the defending nations. We would be there just to help their military and defend their land. If they want to take that further, then we're about keeping the peace. We're the nation. So the it's not the nation of the society of the free people of Earth is about keeping the peace on Earth, and because we keep the peace on Earth, we spend a lot less money as a population. The amount of money that goes into war preparations, even when we're not at war, the amount of money that gets wasted on war just in general, because we spend money going out to places, we spend money fueling ships, we spend money um, building things that actually, if we're all part of the free people of Earth, the society of the free people of Earth, then that isn't necessary. We don't have to go out there and defend ourselves, because everybody would have the same ideals as us. And it doesn't take a lot of, well, as I say, it doesn't take a lot of people. It takes a lot of effort to get everybody on side. But once we have everybody with the same basic ideals, the same basic access to stuff, and we go, every nation stands up and goes, we're not going to have any war anymore. Our people believe this, and we can prove it because more than 50% of our people, not just 50% of the adults, not just 50% of the people who go to vote, but 50% of the people. So it's always a majority. And we instill these ideologies into children because the children accept ideologies. We destroy those ideologies as they grow up, um, which is really bad, actually. And we take all the money that the world wastes on war, and we pump it into scientific research, into education, into healthcare as a global effort. Pump it into making sure that there is water and food for everybody at the very minimal level. Make sure that nobody can starve to death. Nobody can die of dehydration. Um, those things are things that we can fund if we stop funding the fighting. And there are a lot of places where fighting goes on. We've got problems in the Middle East. We've got problems in various parts of Africa. Um, and if both sides agree that everybody has a right to food, water, to be safe, to be sheltered, and they go, we're not going to fight a war unless it's defensive, then they can go, well, you believe that this is yours, we believe it's ours, and it's the same bit of land. Why don't we both step away from it and make it a separate nation in of itself, and stop the waste of lives for pointless objectives. Um, Turn the money that has been wasted, turn the the metal and the resources that have been wasted over to better causes. Um, I, I, I think that there aren't many people who would argue that war is right and justifiable and something we shouldn't avoid at all costs. But those that do would probably be outnumbered by a huge amount. And it's unfortunate that those people are the ones that rise to power. And if we just take it away from them and say, we're not going to condone any action, and if I sign up to be a soldier and I've agreed to these things, I agree not to fight in an aggressive war, in a war that doesn't. If I am sent out and go into a war zone, I can go, no, this isn't a justified war. We're not doing it to protect ourselves. We're not doing it to protect somebody else. We're doing it to make progress and for gain and greed. Then we just go. Then the fighting would stop because the soldiers would say no. Um, so that's just some ideas, and having the Society of the Free People of Earth means that we could open up trade a lot more. We could take places like um, the Israel debate and go, well, neither of you can have the land, or you can um, live together in harmony. But you can't fight anymore because we're going to take all the guns away. We're going to take all the bombs away. We're not going to be making any more guns and bombs. If you want to fight with each other and have brawls in the street, then there'll be police there because instead of um, our nation standing by and going, this is okay, our nations will step in and go, and as a military go, instead of being a military, we'll be a police force in this state. And all we're doing is we're stopping the fighting. We're not there to invade. We're not there to control. We're not there to do um, to be there politically. We're just going to be there as the police force, obeying the laws and preventing the fighting within the laws of the land that's there. Um, and I think this makes a whole lot of sense. I know that there's greed in the world, and I know that people always want more than they're given, but these ideas don't stop greed, and they're not designed to. They're not. They're not going to reduce anything for anybody. That they are going to increase a lot of the world to be in a better state. They're going to stop um, people being persecuted on their own soil. They're stop going to make places livable so that they don't have to emigrate for a better life. Um, on the whole, and yeah, people. There are people that are going to be aspirational and go, "I want to live somewhere else," but they can do it through legal means in a much better way than smuggling themselves across borders. And I think that doing this would be a huge benefit to society. Um, so yeah, that's just some of my opinions. I hope that a lot of this has made sense. Um, I I do hope that, but I would like to start the movement myself. Um, I've certainly thought about drawing the contract up myself for between individuals and the society, so that every individual can go, I'm part of the society. Um, but it's getting the ball rolling, and I don't know whether I'm the right person to do it, but I really would like a united world in so many different ways. 40 years ago, 50 years ago, we were walking on the moon. We were making huge amounts of progress. Oh, I dropped you. We were making huge amount of progress in space, and we were sending people to other worlds in so many ways. Um, and we've taken a step back from that, and I understand that there are scientific reasons for it because there's risk involved with going to other places, and um, there were things we didn't know then that we do know now. But I still think we should be able to save the money that we have for that we would have spent on war, and we can do so many bigger things, and we can fix so many problems with the world. But the energy problem that we've got at the moment doesn't need to be there because um, we have the technology for infinite power from solar generation, pretty much. But the scientific research isn't being put in to make it um, as efficient and as cheap as it possibly could be. Um, Something that I've thought on that's that line is that if a single nation decided we are going to put 5 square meters of solar panel on every property in a country, no matter whether it's facing the right direction or not, we're going to do it and pledge that that amount of money is going to be put there over the next 10 years, that eventually every single every new building has to have it. Every building will eventually have it by the end of this 10-year period, and the government will spend the money to have the solar panels on every single house and every single office and every single commercial premises, um, so that we can have a distributed power network. We don't have to have massive energy plants and that pollute the atmosphere. Um, if one nation did that, then all of a sudden there would be a lot of people fighting for the money as companies, and we can make the better solar panels, so give the money to us, and the government would have the right to go, well, you're not making the best panels at the moment, we'll go somewhere else. And by the end of the 10-year period, instead of every solar panel producing 10%, converting 10% of the electricity that they possibly could or possibly should be able to produce given the amount of solar radiation that hits them, they might be at 50%. And while that's not anywhere near 100%, it's a huge jump. And also, because they've put that much money in, the technology to make the solar panels becomes cheaper. So as well as getting better, they would be cheaper, and we pledge the money, and that's how technologies develop. Um, it's why computers double in size, and we've got Moore's law with double in size at half the price every 18 months. Um, it's because the technologies that are required to make the technology become proven and become more efficient, and we can do that just as well with any technology, um, not just computers. So I think that if we had the money from other places, and we certainly could get the money from other places, especially if we stopped war, we changed the way that international economies work um, with trade, then I think that a huge amount of resources would be freed up. Um, so yeah, I can't believe I've talked for 22 and 23 minutes. Sorry, I can't read. 23 minutes about this. But I have, so I'm going to have to end it here. I'm going to thank you for listening. There are links in the description as usual. Feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe. Johnny DL out.